My name is Upton Greyshoes Ethelbah. My mother's from Santa Clara Pueblo. My father is White Mountain Apache. I was born in Santa Fe, New Mexico, about 71 years ago. Well, I'm a product of the boarding school romance, you might say. My folks loved Santa Fe Indian School. My father was 8 years old when he went to Santa Fe. They provided him with room and board and somebody to take care of him, wake him up in the morning and feed him, and he received a great education. My mother came from Santa Clara Pueblo, and her vocational interest was nursing. And from the time that she arrived at about age 7 or 8, she concentrated on being a nurse. She knew from the very beginning. And she was the first Pueblo woman to graduate from the nursing program at the St. Vincent's Hospital in Santa Fe. I observed those. I grew up seeing sawdust and carving and hard work and good values. I came back from the Navy in 1968, returned to University of New Mexico, and I graduated in 71 in sociology and psychology. I immediately went to work with the All Indian Pueblo Council. There for 3 years, and on to the State Department of Education for 3 years in a federal program called Title I. Went into some social work with the Bureau of Indian Affairs. Eventually, the last 14 years of my working career working at Santa Fe Indian School, where I rejoined my cousin Joe Beta and many, many other friends and relatives that I knew and had met over the years in a special project of that Indian-controlled school. A friend of mine recommended that I consider doing some stone carving. And the Poe Center at Powahki Pueblo, that fantastic vocational art, Native American art program, had been in existence for a couple of years. I began then, right a year before retiring, I began the first of 6 semesters that I did in a row of stone carving. One of the best things about it is that I'm hanging around with young people. I'm by far the oldest active Native American stone carver that I'm aware of. There may be some other old guys like me, but keeps me young. This is the first piece that I ever made. The title is Drum on Kiva Steps. These are the Kiva Steps. Here's your drum. And it was a practice piece in that I wanted to try to do different things. You can see the white part here, which is texturing. And you achieve that by tapping the stone with a nail or a nail set with a little mallet, and the stone will get rough and it turns white. Contrasted immediately with the polished part of the stone, which of course represents the ties, the leather ties that hold the top and the bottom of the drum on. Drumstick, which is placed in the little loop right there on the real drums, and there it is. My Uncle Albert Naranjo's drum had a white spot on the top of it, painted, so I created that round design there on top of, just like my Uncle Albert. Greyshoes comes from the name Ethelbah. My last name Ethelbah comes from my grandfather's name, which was an Apache word that sounded like Ketapa, which meant gray shoes. And so in honor of my grandfather, I sign all my sculptures today, gray shoes. This represents the culture of Santa Clara in terms of dancing. We have corn dancers represented as well as some other dancers. So here in front we have the male dancer, the male face here with the feathers. In the real dance, these are parrot feathers. We have 2 eagle feathers going like this with a macaw going down the middle. And this little design on the end here represents a squash blossom. and it's got the 5 segments. And so here's your male corn dancer at Santa Clara. On this side is the female. And when we dance in 2 long lines, male, female, male, female. 130 or so dancers. So here she is with her headdress and her earrings, back to back with the male and the female. But that's just the corn dance. The other dance that I wanted to try to capture is a winter dance that we do called a buffalo animal dances, buffalo and deer. The buffalo dancers have a big shell on their chest when they're dancing. And they have an otter skin. This is the otter skin down here. You can see the tail, the rear legs. That's basically what it looks like. It's dark brown. There's usually a big shell right here on their chest. The other animals, the deer and the elk and some of the other animals that are portrayed in this dance have feathers that we put behind us on the evergreens here. And they're eagle feathers, which come down like a fan here with a macaw down the middle. So that symbolizes that feather arrangement. We usually have a group of feathers, small parrot feathers here, but I couldn't portray those feathers sticking out, so I put my trademark face, sun face, here. I was talking about dancing our deer dance at Santa Clara. This is Carrara marble. There's a point in our dance where it's kind of like a little dip. One leg is up, and we're in a little bit of a right leg is bent, and the left leg is up off the ground. We're balancing on that right leg and on our sticks in front, which represent our front legs, and our head is slightly turned. And so I carved this piece here all the time singing those deer dance songs. I dressed him with his bow guards, the sticks with the turkey feathers here, the necklace, just like the necklace I wear. When I dance, I have earrings, which was traditionally done. That's why I wear these earrings when I dance. The basket here, the evergreens sticking out from behind the basket, the big elk horns, even ears, the ears of the elk. The left leg is off the ground. So this piece is connected to the whole stone by only maybe a 3/4 of an inch square here, and then this foot here. Moccasins, bells around the waist. The back we've got turkey feathers, and we've got a sash back here, and again with the fan of eagle feathers and the macaw feather. And then in 2 different places is my trademark sun face. This piece represents, it's an attempt on my part to honor the basket makers of the Southwest. There are several tribes that who are great basket makers. And so you'll see that the design of this basket right here is a Hopi design. Hopis, as we know, make great baskets. We make baskets at Santa Clara as well. And this would be a typical headdress for during our corn dance from Santa Clara. Apaches are very well known for burden baskets, for cradle boards, other kinds of use of basketry. Apache women have what's called a T necklace. It's a beaded necklace that goes around their neck and then drops down. It looks like a T. Navajo people have done some wonderful basket work over the years. Her hair is tied up as a Navajo people would do it. Figure 8 with the yarn in the middle. So we have Hopi, Santa Clara, Apache, Navajo. Number 5, the women of southern Arizona, Tohono O'odham, and they're known to wear very light, loose blouses, long sleeve blouses with loose dresses. So this is in honor of the basket makers of the Southwest, 5 different tribes: Hopi, Apache, Santa Clara, Navajo, and the southern Arizona people down here. The theme for the Native Treasure Show 2014 was is to incorporate the term journey, and I thought that in terms of Indian migration, that's journey, and the symbol for migration is a spiral. So my style of dancer, many times I'll have this kind of a base for it with a face up here or some activity, some character or something up here. It also overall is a nice solid form, and it seems to work well. I got a little tongue-in-cheek on this one here because Journey happens to be my favorite band as well. And that kind of looks like a wheel in the sky. And so the name of this piece is Wheel in the Sky - Journey. Yeah, so this is my basic design. This is the stone that I am working on right now. It's an alabaster, and I decided to add the Pueblo in here, or the mountains. I'll take it back a little bit so it'll be more defined, and you'll have the wheel in the sky over the top of the mountains or the Pueblo. And this will be a spiral up here. One of the tools that I use, it's got a diamond bit. It's called a die grinder. It spins at about 20,000 RPMs. That's good for doing detail. This is a big angle grinder. This guy spins at about 15,000 RPMs, and got a diamond blade, a 7-inch diamond blade, and that's how I cut all the pieces. When I start to polish it and sand it and get it sanded down, I'll use this piece. It's an angle grinder also. It's got a real rough surface here. This is called a Zek pad. That's a brand name, Zek. And it spins pretty fast, and you can just take these pieces off. You can smooth, and that's nice and smooth now because I've been working with this surface here. Pretty cool, no? So I took that down about probably 1/8 of an inch in just a few seconds. It's a very soft stone, so you can carve to your heart's content. This is the back here. I've got my air hose. I'm going to blow that dust off. When it gets all finished, polished up, it's going to be beautiful. I think it'll create a little laughter that night too when we start talking about Journey being a band.